Good afternoon, everyone. How does faith, family, and finances all come together? And today, we will be hearing from a couple, both in business and in real life, Marcus and Mei Ling, who are the co-founders of PositiveLinks Asia. Hi, Marcus. Hi, Mei Ling. We're so glad to have you today on this coffee chat. So yeah, we hope that we have a great time just talking, really. So, as mentioned, I know you guys are the founders of PositiveLink Asia. Marcus and Mei Ling, what are you passionate about at your work?
Very simply, PositiveLinks Asia is a recruitment company. So we help our clients to find specific candidates, generally hard to find, right? So that's what we do. And how we earn our revenue is the fees from the placement of such candidates with our clients. So
Links Asia, as you mentioned, is an executive recruitment firm. I hope I got that right. I noticed that empowerment is one of the key things that you really seem to really focus on, and I think empowerment is such an important part of any company's DNA. How did your organization survive or even thrive actually during these difficult times that we're actually going through?
I think empowerment is something that I actively put in together for the entire team, simply because the realization is that we cannot do everything by ourselves. Even as we want to be able to sustain, to grow, we need to empower. And the foundation of empowerment is actually trust. I will need to, whatever level that you come in, or you participate with us, even supporting at a level where you're very junior, right? You still have to be empowered, because the trust enables someone to grow, and therefore they are empowered. So it's a holistic thing. Now, if the trust is lost, right, or betrayed, then we will have to bring that back a little bit, and therefore the empowerment comes down. So it's a give and take situation.
So it's like a fluctuating thing, is it? That empowerment level they are saying? Okay, interesting.
I think to build on that, right? Look, at the end of the day, one of our values in our company is this learning. Everyone of us needs to have that learning posture. Empowerment teaches us to be more responsible, to take that risk, to be more autonomous in doing things right, to handle more complexity in what we do. And to do that, of course, the byproduct or the output, the outcome is the reward. That means if you do it well, you get a good outcome, then that's where the business rewards you as well. So empowerment is part and parcel about the trust, but also part and parcel about the journey that we want our colleagues to grow into.
Right, but how do you apply it, in an executive recruitment firm like yours? Isn't your firm more, correct me if I'm not, more transactional in basis? How then do you apply empowerment?
Well, it's not exactly transactional, because there's an element of gut feel. That means that, for example, sometimes when we find candidates, they may not 100% fit into the requirement of the clients. And because they don't,
does that happen often?
All the time, because you can never find 100% fit.
We deal with people, not products. So people come all sorts of colors.
Shapes and sizes as well, I'm sure.
Exactly, yeah. So different dimension. So that means you make the call of sharing this candidate profile with the client, because there's some clients a lot more stickier than the rest. So that's where that's one example of it. Two is, of course, how they manage the time, because right now we all work remotely. Actually, the most of our colleagues all work from home. So that's also the element of trust as well. And of course, we need to be wise with this application, right? That means we also will need to put the boundaries and the guidelines in terms of managing behavior as well.
But we are learning ourselves how to better empower, how to coach, how to guide. When do we step in? When do we trust?
Do you have a story for us of empowerment?
I think it comes back down to, if I empower my colleague or my staff to deal with the client is not happy, right? And the client calls up and for whatever reason ends up shelling my staff, right? So what do I do? First thing that, my staff will come to me, starts crying and say, I can't do this, right? For whatever reason, I've let you down, or, I did a poor job. So the empowerment is okay. I can step in and, make everything well again. Or I can give her a little bit of guidance to say, okay, this is how you make back good with the client. But of course, she does not know that at the back of it, I have also made a call to the client to explain So while it is, I empower you, with her, right, she thinks that, okay, I'm stepping into this, I'm going to do it all by myself, but we never really just let go and say, you're in the deep, go swim with the sharks and figure out which shark is coming after you. It's also giving the guidelines to say, okay, you do this, don't worry, it will work. And what we can do from behind is, we'll just come support and do whatever that's necessary to speak to the client. And so.
Right. I'm guessing you're demonstrating that empowerment yourself as well to just go above and beyond. Okay. Totally awesome. And yeah, just curious as well, your company name, PositiveLinks Asia. What's the story behind that, the name?
Okay, because I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want people, talent, HR into any of this. But I think it goes back down to the purpose of what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping the main thing. Our purpose is very simple, is to help people grow and excel in their personal lives, careers, and their aspirations. Very simple as that. And we want to be that positive link to all these three areas, whatever it is, right? Again, personal lives, careers, and aspirations. Mei Ling already has demonstrated how sometimes we can help people in their personal lives. I think both Mei Ling and I have spoken to individuals privately about what the things they are going through. Sometimes some of them they lose their job, and sometimes they are in the depths of despair. Some people are sometimes going through depression and stuff like that. So we can do as much as we can, but that's holding true to our purpose. Of course, careers is connecting people to the right opportunities. And aspirations, I think it's more within the company, as in we want to work with people or our colleagues to help them achieve their goals or their dreams. Very simple. That's whether it's within PositiveLinks itself or actually outside. And we have
outside as well. Okay.
Outside means to say that, look, we cannot help you to achieve your goal anymore. Find something that's outside there that can actually help you.
Like knowing when to let go, basically.
Which is what we do.
Okay. Yeah, Mei Ling was totally on board on the name PositiveLinks Asia as well, or did you have any other?
When we first started, when Marcus first started, I wasn't in the picture, right? But the essence of the business is actually there's connections there. So another word for connections is links, right? How do we link people to jobs? People to maybe a bit of destiny. Sometimes we cannot link them to the job, but we're happy to point them in the right direction. And the turning point is if we really help someone, kickstart a fantastic career. So there's always these links in the head, in our minds, right? And finally, it was one of his colleagues that came up with the word positive. So we just combined it together. Why not do something positively?
All right, totally awesome as well. How do you focus or even juggle? Maybe for some people, between family, faith, finances, as a foundation, of building a better life.
It's never compartmentalized, because when life hits you, right, it just comes all at one go. When we talk about faith and work, or faith and finances, right, you don't have money, faith will arise. So,
could go either way, I would argue, though.
Right? Well, yes, true. But, because you grow up with faith, right, then you always think, oh my gosh, finances are running low, God, please provide, right? So that being the case, it's always thinking and remembering that we need to put God's principles first. So, and finances go together, right? Faith will rise up when your business or, when cash flow or challenges come your way, even family situations, right? To put it something as a focus, right? It's really to relive the testimonies, whether it's our own, and even more powerful is if it's ours or with others, the people of God, right? That God's provisions are there. He will ultimately remind us that He is truly in control.
To be honest, it's not easy. I think it's ultimately going back to the single core purpose, right? And if I understand myself better or correctly, I have so much talent that God has given me. So this is what I'm supposed to do in work.
You're referring to talent as in God-given talent and not money talent, right?
Yeah. How do you balance it? It's hard. It's, let's say, family, right? So family, in my mind, there's a hierarchy and also a schedule in my mind, right? So there's this time where I spend time with the family, then of course spend time with the business, and of course finances will be an underlying thing.
If you don't mind, I just to
Yeah.
jump in a little bit, because that's the question that it personally interests me as well. Focus especially has been a key theme for me this year, and timing as well. I'm looking about a third of time for work, a third of time for family and faith, and a third of time for other things as well. But how's that schedule looking like for you? How do you split it up?
I tell you, it's tough because it gets messy. But now, because we are doing some things within the business, that we are tightening things, certain things, and that takes up our energy actually. Two is, of course, there's the demands of work, because right now we have quite a number of jobs to fill as well. So that's
the season of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So everything is challenging.
So that schedule, I think we need to keep it flexible. I think ultimately it's not replacing one with the other. I think that's how I see it. It's not a straightforward answer. It's something that we are trying to manage as well.
In interacting with so many people throughout the years, right?
How many years have you all been doing this?
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years now.
11 years, okay.
We've come to realize that not everyone is taught from young how to manage finances, for example. Right?
It's lacking in our schools, that's one of my biggest gripes actually. Yeah.
Yes. Children don't know, right? Some families will teach their children don't spend, save. Some families will teach their children maybe investment, but the holistic form of it does not come, right? So
how about in the core household, what do you teach?
But you've brought up a very good reminder that if you talk about all these three F's, right? Family, faith, finances, we have to first remember that it's about the faith part first. So if we want to tackle or teach our kids the right way, then what's the foundation of it? It's about God first, right? So that's why put God first, His principles first, and then you think about finance, remembering that it's not mine, it's not ours, it's not for us to just make and use, like something that is discardable. It is the fact that we are stewarding it. And that's reminders across the Bible as well, because it's for the generations to come, right? And how we use our money actually matters to God. Because at the end of the day, all of wealth comes from God. So it does not mean that, I earn it, I can blow it. It comes back down to, if we think about how we use our money matters to God, then we need to put His principles first. And the first and foremost reminder is He is Lord over everything. Every single cent, you are not to waste. Therefore, it comes back down to, give, sow, tithe. The giving, right, is to enable us to acknowledge that it is not ours, right? The sowing is God's command to invest in His way, not our way. But the principles of investing for God, right, is to expect a harvest, and this harvest is not what we think it's, in physical terms, new house, new car, that sort, right? And then also another command. It is a command that we act in faith and obedience, right? So that's the first part, how we use it. The second one is wealth accumulation or saving. I think that's important to God as well, because God moves generationally. He will bless our children's children. That is a promise. And to do that, right, that means our saving is faith motivated, because we're saving for the children's children. It is not fear motivated, because if it's fear motivated, I just save for myself, right? I make sure that I have enough, and that's it. I don't care.
You just hoard and all that. But that's difficult, right? Because of our limited lifespans and viewpoints that we can't see past.
I want to hoard, right? Because I really have limited, right? So it's the mindset of not hoarding and saying I have to think beyond and let it be that the accumulation is for generational.